Greetings, my name is Clinton C. I represent Do Good in the Neighborhood, and this lecture is focused on sustainability cooperatives in the neighborhoods. Edible landscapes in the cooperative sense is utilizing open areas where we occupy to grow. What is a cooperative? What is a cooperative? A cooperative is a group of people acting together to meet the common needs and aspirations of its members, sharing ownership and making decisions democratically. A cooperative is a legal entity owned and democratically controlled by its members. The importance of cooperatives. Cooperatives promote the fullest possible participation in the economic and social development of all people and are a major economic force in all countries and a powerful business model in all countries. It can play a particular role in empowering all people and fighting all forms of discrimination. It provides much needed goods and services, including healthcare, education, water, housing, agriculture, as well as edible landscape development. The cooperative government system structures. Based on membership structure and essentially defines who the members are and how the cooperative is organized to serve them. Centralized structure. Individuals are direct members. A federated structure. Cooperatives are direct members. A mixed structure. Both individuals and cooperatives are direct members. The cooperative is a very prevalent form of business. Over 30,000 cooperatives are in the United States. Cooperatives serve more than 6 million people and employ more than 2 million people. They have a revenue of more than $650 billion. There are many types of cooperatives serving several sectors. Cooperatives provide many services as well as products. Right now, we are focusing on farm production supplies and service and farm marketing, anything in the agribusiness sector, which also relates to the edible landscaping sector. We do have organizations such as the National Black Farmers Association, but also multiple cooperative associations that is focused on sustainability can be a great asset to our neighborhoods and our communities. Cooperatives are a type of corporation. They could be nonprofit corporations or for-profit corporations, associations, as well as foundations. Cooperatives have multiple owners who are user members. They have a variety of goods and services, physical facilities. They are state chartered, members are investors, and is owned and controlled by members who use its services as well as its products. Fundamentals of cooperatives. They operate under unique principles and practices, are primarily controlled by a board of directors elected by and from members, derive equity from member owners, operate for the benefit of member owners, allocate earnings to members based on use, earnings from member business are taxed once, have perpetual existence. The user-owner principle or cooperatives are the people who own and finance the cooperative are those who use it, so everyone wins. Cooperatives related to agribusiness sector. Farming cooperatives, fishing cooperatives, aquaponics cooperatives, biofertilizer cooperatives, edible landscape business cooperatives, cooperative banks, as well as cooperative time banks. Farming cooperatives or edible landscape cooperatives will be explained. An agricultural credit cooperative is essentially an operation of securing money from one source or the other by creating the confidence that the amount of loan will be invested in productive operations so that the lender will get back the loan with interest as per agreement. An industrial cooperative or sustainability industrial cooperative is a cooperative organized by workers, controlled by workers, and managed by workers for meeting their common purpose and goals. Urban Credit Cooperative. So, Urban Credit Cooperative Bank is a group of people who form a cooperative society for mutual financial benefits and financial transactions like any financial institutions in urban towns and cities functioning under directions of the Apex/Central Reserve Bank. Now, we also have a housing cooperative. A housing cooperative is a business that owns or rents property for the purpose of housing its members. The housing cooperative should be as eco-based or sustainability conscious as possible. Building a regional food system or a sustainable food system will be a great asset to the local community because foods are produced where the people are located primarily, which will have a great impact on the conditions of the people, especially as it relates to their health and their mental well-being. Creating a sustainable food system or a local food system is very important. Here we see an example of this, which is explained through how we have an inner urban core, an inner urban, an urban residential, a perma-urban agriculture, and a rural agricultural sector. We also have relation to farmers markets, edible plant species in public parks, rooftop gardening, community gardening, backyard plots, small intensive agriculture and market gardens, and agriculture and intensive livestock. All of these functions play off each other. They're all symbiotic, and it's a great benefit to the residents and the people, the population. There are examples of cooperatives as they relate to farms. A integrated whole farm ecology that generates a viable livelihood for farmers while sustaining the land and providing quality food for the local economy. Here is an example. Bountiful backyard micro homesteads is systems that can be incorporated into all communities where we reside and where we exist. This is an example of an edible landscape or a micro homestead that can be incorporated in all areas where we exist. Example of food growing in front of the house. When designing systems, we have to look at all of the sectors within the system. As we see on this diagram, we see that we have different areas, 1, 2, 3, 4, that is emanating from the house. These areas are basically zones where you design the property, and people learning in the cooperatives learn how to design properties so that the property will be able to function to its highest optimal regard. This is an example of an edible landscape or a micro homestead that can be incorporated in all of our areas. Learning how to design properties from members within the cooperative will be a great asset to our communities. Creating systems of food production and laying it out for people and clients will be a great asset to cooperative members. This is an example of a map that has been designed for a tropical or subtropical area where we have bananas, papayas, yucca, and many different other tropical plants growing. Aerial view of organic farm production with agroforestry surrounding. This diagram shows a food forest with many different fruit tree crops as well as herb crops growing within the system. Apples, June berries, Asian pears, plums, as well as other plants. And we have sage, thyme, and yarrow, echinacea, and other herbs that is growing in the understory of the food forest. Edible landscape design. As we see in this photo, there's a strip of grass pathway. The grass should be cut and collected and used for various purposes, like mulching the plants, making compost tea using grass clippings, as well as using the grass clippings to make compost. Here we have fruit trees growing in containers. These fruit tree containers can be grown and used for people to have access to fresh fruit. Also, you can grow vegetables and herbs in these containers. And when people grow food in these containers, they can also sell these products to people to make funds to help their sustainability cooperative. Vertical spaces being utilized in this garden pick, as well as raised bed grow boxes, and also tree crops are in this system. This is a backyard system photo pic. As we can see, the system is very neat, and we have tree crops incorporated into the system and beneficial plants as well. Agroforestry alley cropping system where useful trees are grown within the system for nitrogen fixing as well as for biomass production to mulch plants and other various purposes. This is a permanent bed system. In this system, you have no reason to till the soil over and over, a no-till agroforestry system. This is a hoop house growing vegetables. In a hoop house as such, you are able to grow food year round. Elliott Coleman 4-Season Harvest is a great resource. Well, while we are able to grow food year round in all climates, especially cold climates, we will be able to have produce that will be able to get sold to people where we can make funds that can help finance the cooperatives. An example of a garden installation that can be used for wide open public areas to be a benefit for the community. Creating raised garden bed boxes, which are permanent, would be a great asset because we do not have to till up the soil over and over again, and making them with sturdy materials will allow them to last for years. In this system, we see that we eliminate the need for weeding via a mulch covering that is over the soil. In this system, everything should be bioorganic waste compatible, meaning that everything should be able to be compostable, as well as the film as you see that is over the soil preventing weeds. Now, where the path is, where you see the soil, is that should be covered with cardboard because soil should never be bare to the elements. A couple of layers of cardboard, 2 or 3 with little holes poked in the middle, which can be watered here and there with compost tea and beneficial organisms and fish emulsion and things in that nature. In the beds, in the permanent beds, while creating the beds, to create a no-till system, you will incorporate different mineral fertilizers, rock dust, compost teas, biofertilizers, all quality soil amendments, good compost, rotting manure, etc., to make the beds nice and fertile that will allow one to have a productive harvest. This is an example where we are protecting the crops or the bed from all potential invasive insects as well as other critters. This also allows one to extend the harvest. Utilizing vertical space to grow herbs such as rosemary and sage and other culinary herbs is useful because we are not using horizontal space and we're able to grow more vertically. Using wall space to grow various herbs can be a great asset and a great product to have for people to sell in the cooperatives to make money to for the cooperatives to create other cooperatives. Utilizing vertical space to grow crops such as lettuce consistently is a great resource to have on hand because having a products as such, you're able to have consistent income. As we see here, growing lettuce in pots, pottery pots, vertically allows all fences in our neighborhoods to be utilized to grow food of some sort. These pottery pots can and should be made by members of the cooperatives. Utilizing wall space to grow crops as well as its vertical space creates a resource, produce, that can be used to generate profits. African Americans are likely to have issues suffering from things such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and stroke as compared to other races of people. African Americans can benefit from sustainability cooperatives because it will allow them to produce foods that will improve their health conditions. Edible landscapes and the landscape design. Some of the best choices for edible landscapes should be provided for our communities. When sustainability cooperatives are created, we provide opportunities for the people in our areas to have access to quality food that will help them in life. Example of how an edible landscape is grown. In the middle, you see the grass. The grass is grown so that you can use the grass as a biomass to make compost and also compost tea made from grass clippings. And you also use the grass for mulch.
gang, gang, surely. I'ma go surely, surely, gang, gang, surely. Surely, surely, gang, gang, surely. I'ma go surely, surely, gang, gang, surely.